Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new model, and this one is crazy cool. We have a brand new Para Bellum Conquest figure. As you can see, we have a Quetzalcoatlus, and that is really exciting. I'm honestly so hyped to break this out of the box and check it out. I love these figures. I have quite a few of them now in my collection, but this is the first time they've had a large pterosaur. We did have some smaller pterosaurs in the Brachiosaurus set, but no large pterosaurs like this, so definitely excited to check it out. You can see the image on the front of the box looks awesome. If we turn it to the side, you've got a nice shot of one of the, I think maybe the guy that's riding the Quetzalcoatlus, and then here on the back you can see another shot of the figure. The glare is trying to kill it though. Let me go ahead and actually get the plastic off. So this might make it a little easier to see. So there you go. You can now see a really nice shot of the Quetzalcoatlus, and I think maybe we have the opportunity. Yep, yes, you definitely do. It says alternate head, so you have a different head that you could put on the Quetzalcoatlus, and you can see the two different types that you could give the figure. Boy, that's going to be a tough one. I don't know what one I'm going to want to go with. They both look really cool. But again, there's the shot of the front of the box. And then once you open the box up, you of course have a whole bunch of pieces in here, and if you are unfamiliar with these, definitely check out the other reviews because they are those classic model kit type of nostalgic releases. Like if you enjoy those old school model kits, you're going to love these because that's exactly what these are. But you can see very clearly we've got all sorts of pieces in here that we need to pop out. So I'm going to go ahead, pop all of these pieces out, assemble the figure, and then we'll check it out from there. So there we go. Everything is now put together. I have done nothing except glue it together. I haven't filled any seams or anything like that because I really wanted to show you guys what it looks like, you know, as you go through the process of building and everything. So if we bring in, first of all, our rider, you can see, as per usual, when it comes to these sets, there are a few different options that you can go with when it comes to your rider. I've chosen to give him this super cool kind of weapon here that he's like thrown off. It's like a spear that's attached to kind of like a rope, and he's obviously thrown it at something. I don't know exactly what he is seeing in front of him at this point in time. You can, of course, you know, create dioramas using the other sets in the Para Bellum line, which I have already reviewed quite a few of in the past, like maybe the Apex Predator, the Tyrannosaurus that's in the line. You could have the rider here throwing this weapon at that Rex, but you can see if you get nice and close, again, super nice looking sculpt on this. We've got like a really cool kind of a war bonnet up here over the top of the head, which is a pretty cool addition to the figure, and you can see the detailing of the feathers and everything is really well done. When it comes to these Para Bellum sets, they are always insanely highly detailed, and you can see that even within these feathers, again, as you can see, like little areas where the feathers are kind of like broken into and stuff, just lots of realism added to it. As you move down, you can see he has kind of like a little mask on, and we can also kind of get a glimpse of what I think is the hair coming down. And as we move down further, we basically have another big area of feathers that our rider is wearing here, basically around his neck and kind of down into the shoulders. And then as you move down further, you can see the outfit that he is currently wearing is also really quite cool, but quite different from a lot of the other riders that I've reviewed in the past. So that's pretty fun. Definitely like the fact that this one is quite a bit different. And as we move around here to the back, you'll see again, basically giving you a better idea of what the outfit is. Obviously, he's quite crouched in this current position because he is riding on the back of our Quetzalcoatlus, but you can see everything again looks absolutely awesome from every single angle. And as you lead out, even the rope here that's attached to the weapon is really highly detailed, and what's fun is you can see there is definitely some flex to it. Even though my camera's not focusing on it currently right now, you can very clearly see again that there is definitely some flex to the weapon, and as you move out, you can see that is a very much so jagged edge spear here that would do some damage to whatever it hits, and that as well, again, is really impressive when it comes to the detailing aspect. And then we bring in our Quetzalcoatlus. Now, with the Quetzalcoatlus, you do have the option of two different head sculpts, and with those head sculpts also come kind of different crests and I've chosen to go with this one because I just really like the overall appearance of this one. I think it looks really cool. But you can see it looks very nice as far as the sculpt goes. You've got the nostrils sculpted out, the eyes as well. Really nice looking skin texture throughout the face, as well as up into the crest and down into the beak. The texturing looks really good, and obviously you can see a few seams that I'm going to have to seal up as I go, but you can see, again, really tiny things, like even little cracks here in the beak of our pterosaur. That is just so cool, and again, always shows you the level of detail you get when it comes to these Para Bellum releases. You can see the same over here, again, just different when it comes to the areas of slight damage to the beak of our pterosaur. And as you move back, you can see the skin texture in the neck looks phenomenal. Like, it really is super impressive, and I like that since the pterosaur has its head turned slightly toward us, you see a good bit of creasing and everything here in the neck as you move along. You can also see quite a bit of tensing leading down into the body of our Quetzalcoatlus, and as you look from up above, you can see the saddle where our rider is sitting. That is very nicely sculpted, again, nicely textured as well. And as we continue to move down, you can see the pterosaur's body. This one is a very much so scaly version. There are no pycnofibers on this pterosaur, and obviously, you're not looking for accuracy, like scientific accuracy, when it comes to these Para Bellum figures. I mean, that's just not what you're going to get here. You get incredibly cool fantasy style creatures, but you can see some pretty bumpy scales here moving along the back of our pterosaur, as well as a line of ridges following along the spinal column as you lead down there into the tail. You can even see some creasing in the skin there right behind the legs as you lead into the tail, showing again how impressive the detailing aspect is. And as you move out into the wings, again, the skin texture looks beautiful leading out. You can see veins and everything as you lead along through the course of the wing. You can also see some slight tears and stuff as you move along the bottom of the wings and everything leading up. You can see the hands right there, the nails as well, and then you lead all the way out there to the end of the wing, and then again the same thing over here, just different veins and stuff that you see kind of popping up, different slight areas of damage to the ends of the wings. And again, when it comes to the slight areas of damage where the pterosaur could still look like it can fly, you've got that very nicely shown off on this, not like the Mattel versions where lately they've been releasing pterosaurs that are absolutely destroyed, or I don't think they could actually fly. This looks absolutely like it could, but still has those realistic injuries and stuff throughout. And then as you lead down, you can see the legs are sculpted quite nicely. You've got the feet with like some scoots moving down the toes, the nails sculpted nicely as well. And if we turn the pterosaur around as I hit the camera with its wings, you can see the underside here looks quite nice muscle definition to the chest and everything leading down. You do have a little peg hole right here, and that's because there is a little stand that comes with the pterosaur that we will use again once we are finished with it, and that's basically how we will display it. But as you move out, you can see the underside again looks really nice, just like it did on the upper side. Pretty much the same thing. Of course, you're not going to see a whole lot of difference from one side of the skin here of the wing compared to the other, but you can see a little bit of a different angle here for the feet. You can see the undersides of the feet. But that is an absolutely fantastic looking pterosaur, and I'm so excited to get this painted up. So let's get it painted up, and then we'll come back and check it out when it's all done. So there we go. We now have it finished. We now have it completed, painted, and put together, and everything obviously was put together before, but we have it now completely done, and it looks so insanely cool now with some paint apps on it. It really just brings these figures to life. Honestly, the Para Bellum figures are so underrated when it comes to just how darn nice they look, especially if you are into fantasy-style dinosaurs, and in this case, of course, flying reptiles. But if you like that sort of thing, or if you're into like Dinotopia and stuff like that, these figures are so unbelievably awesome. But to show you, of course, we're going to bring our painted figures up a little closer. Actually, first we'll go ahead and check out the rider. And as you can see, again, once he is finished, absolutely epic. You can see the detail on this figure is out of this world. Even the feathers, like here, leading off of the head here, you can see the feathers show so much fine detail that you maybe didn't even notice when we were taking the closer look before, because there wasn't really any color to enhance that. But man, the detail on these is honestly like next level impressive, and you can see that as we move through the course of the entire figure. It is as highly detailed as it honestly can get. And of course, once again, there are some paint apps added to the figure. It really brings it all to life in the best way possible. Even the weapon, as you can see out here again, is extremely highly detailed and looks fantastic from every angle. Again, super realistic, and definitely a really nice addition to this figure. We haven't had, as far as, you know, any of the figures that I've acquired anyway, any weapons that were similar to this in the past. This is definitely the first time we've had something so unique and so different and just so visually impressive. Like, that is definitely one really cool shot of the rider throwing out his spear at, I don't know exactly what, but something clearly. But again, the figure is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the sculpting aspect. And then we have our Quetzalcoatlus, and as you can see, that as well is fantastic. Again, once you add some paintwork to it, it really just comes to life in the best way possible. Really just looks insanely highly detailed. Like, the skin wrinkles and everything moving down through the course of the neck looks so good on the figure once you highlight them with a little bit of dry brushing, and the skin texture here in the face, and even the texturing of the beak, you can see again looks super well done. You can see all the scars and everything now on the beak, which look really nice as well. And when we move actually back a little bit further, first of all, you can see that little saddle area where our rider would be sitting. Obviously, I'm going to place him here once I'm fully done, and I actually, attach this to the base, which I will show you here in a moment. But you can see with the wingspan out and again some paint apps on it, that pterosaur just comes to life so nicely. And I chose a pretty interesting color scheme for this one. Definitely went flashy, or at least as flashy as I think you can get away with when it comes to still kind of looking fairly natural. But I'm pretty happy with the paint apps. Definitely a unique look, I think, for my Quetzalcoatlus, and you can see the same thing, of course, for the underside. I didn't really switch up the colors from the top to the bottom, outside of kind of like a little striping effect leading down into the body as you lead along, and a lighter tone moving down the underbelly. But for the most part, when it comes to like the skin of the wings, it's pretty much the same pattern and same design as what we see on the upper side of our Quetzalcoatlus. But I think that definitely helps to make it look extremely flashy, and again, in a good way, in my opinion. Again, that might just be me commenting on my own paintwork, but hopefully you guys like it as well. But again, you can see just how highly detailed even the wings are. Like, as I kind of let the light hit it, you could see so much impressive skin detail here in the wings. I'm honestly now debating on whether I should have gone back and just applied like a little bit of a dry brushing over the wings to really bring the detail out in the wings even more, because there is so much nice detail in those wings, in the skin of the wings of our pterosaur. But it looks absolutely awesome once it's fully finished, and again just looks beyond gorgeous when it comes to a very cool fantasy style Quetzalcoatlus. And looking at that, you can't dare deny that it looks so much like a Dinotopia figure or something along those lines. Again, it just really has that feel. But definitely an epic, beyond epic, I would say, Quetzalcoatlus. I'm really excited about this. The first time we've had a pterosaur, to my knowledge, in the Para Bellum line. As far as the size goes for the Quetzalcoatlus, it is actually pretty decently sized. For a length, if we go from the beak to the foot, about 9.5 inches, or 24, maybe even close to 24.5 centimeters, so maybe even a little over 9.5 inches. And then for a wingspan, you are looking at, if it would stop flopping from side to side, you are looking at about 12, a little over 12, actually approaching 12.75 inches, or around 32 centimeters. And then obviously our rider sits right there in the same size range as all of the previous ones have when it comes to these figures. They don't really differ in size, so we've gone over those numerous times. Now, as far as the actual base and everything, basically what you have, there's not much of a base to it. You basically have this little plastic stand which you can use to prop your pterosaur up on. I tried to balance mine out just to see if it would balance on it, because I kind of felt like maybe it would be a able to, but not so much. I can't really get it to balance, so I think well, we're losing focus. I think I'm going to actually glue all of this together, and then we'll check out the final product once it's done from there. But you also, again, have this little area, which is pretty much the standard. I got like something on it there. Pretty much the standard when it comes to these Para Bellum figures. They almost always have this same style stand, and if it's like the other ones, does this come out? Oh, yes, definitely. So there you go. You can actually pull that piece out if you would like, but the fact that that can come out kind of allows you to move it and spin it if you want at times. Like if you glue it to the base, you should be able to spin it, I would think. But it's a decent looking base, some pretty nice high quality texturing applied to it, and it's just basically a black coloration, nothing really else going on as far as that goes. So I'm going to go ahead, get this all glued together, and then we'll check out some size comparisons from there. So there we go. It is now put together and looking absolutely incredible. We've got all of the pieces glued together. You can see what it finally looks like now when it's actually glued to the stand. Again, the display is beyond impressive. Definitely one of the coolest looking models to come from the Para Bellum line overall. And honestly, I feel like these figures are so unbelievably underrated. They just don't get talked about nearly enough, and they are really, really cool displays. Like, they always include so much to give you an incredible release. But as far as those size comparisons we were looking for, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon in the Collect Day human being next to our Quetzalcoatlus, again from Para Bellum, and you can see that it definitely has a pretty darn nice size to it. Definitely an impressive size without being gigantic, but still pretty large overall. So size-wise, I feel like the best comparison I can give you would be with this one and, of course, the next Quetzalcoatlus I'll bring in. But you can see when it comes to the TNG version of the Quetzalcoatlus, they're very similar in size, with the Para Bellum version being just a little bit bigger. But if you do have the TNG version, you're going to really see that, again, they're extremely close in size. And here we have the How Long Good version of the Quetzalcoatlus. Obviously, this one here is repainted to more so resemble the Jurassic World Dominion Quetzalcoatlus, but you can see, again, pretty similar in size, with the Para Bellum version just being a little bit bigger and obviously very different as far as the pose and positioning goes. And honestly, I don't think I have very many Quetzalcoatlus in my collection, especially ones that have a similar pose to this. Most of them seem to be standing versions rather than flying versions, so hopefully these comparisons have given you a pretty good idea of the size of this Quetzalcoatlus. So this Conquest Para Bellum Quetzalcoatlus figure is absolutely epic in every way, just like every single one of these releases always are. I now have, I think, 4 or 5 releases from the Para Bellum line, and each and every one is fantastic. They always supply you with an incredibly highly detailed sculpt, and just in general a very cool scene of basically very Dinotopia style models with, rather than people, we have more so creatures that kind of are flying these, but they always look so impressive, and every single time, again, just honestly give me those Dinotopia vibes in a great way. But you can see this Quetzalcoatlus is gorgeous. Definitely one of the most majestic releases from the Para Bellum line so far, with a very cool flying Quetzalcoatlus and a rider on the back there showing its very cool fighting skill as it sends out an extremely neat looking spear basically after something. I don't know exactly what he's trying to kill, but I think he might hit it with that very cool weapon that he has. But the rider is equally as impressive when it comes to the sculpt as the Quetzalcoatlus is, again sporting tons of impressive detailing. And obviously you'll have to paint this and build it yourself, but I think that's one of the really appealing aspects about these, is it's kind of like those classic model kits that you just don't see very often anymore. And I love the fact that they're still being released, and obviously Para Bellum is going strong with these, as we have this very cool flying reptile now in the Para Bellum line. Obviously, you could hire a paleo artist to build it and paint it for you if you don't want to do it yourself, but I feel like it's so much fun building and painting these that you should definitely go that route. So overall, a fantastic release yet again. If you are interested in picking this up and adding it to your collection, I will include a link in the description to where you can do that right now on the Para Bellum website. So make sure you check that link, absolutely pick this up, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.